And the more you do this, the more disconnected you become from your own authority, because your direction is no longer coming from within. It is being shaped by response, and response is unstable. People change. Why do you keep seeking validation? Why do you look outward before you decide inward? Why does your confidence rise and fall based on how others respond to you? There is a pattern here, a quiet pattern that shapes the way you think, the way you act, and the way you move through your life. And most people never question it, because it feels normal. From a young age, you are taught to look outside of yourself for confirmation. You are rewarded when you are approved of. You are corrected when you are not. You learn quickly that acceptance feels good, and rejection feels uncomfortable. So you begin adjusting. You adjust your words. You adjust your behavior. You adjust your expression, not to deceive, but to belong. And over time, something subtle begins to happen. You stop asking what is true for you, and you start asking what will be accepted. This is where validation becomes a habit, not a conscious choice, a conditioned response. You think something, but before you trust it, you look outward. You feel something, but before you act on it, you look outward. You want something, but before you pursue it, you look outward. Is this right? Is this enough? Is this approved? Opinions shift. Standards evolve. So when your sense of self is tied to validation, your stability is constantly moving. You feel confident when you are approved of. You feel uncertain when you are not. You feel strong when you are supported. You feel weak when you are questioned. Not because your ability changed, because your reference point is external. This is the hidden cost of seeking validation. You lose consistency. You lose clarity. You lose trust in your own thinking. And over time, you begin to hesitate. You second guess. You delay action. Not because you do not know what to do, but because you are waiting to see how it will be received. This waiting becomes a pattern of hesitation, a pattern of checking, a pattern of asking silently, what will they think? And that question quietly controls your life. It influences your decisions. It shapes your identity. It limits your expression, because you are no longer acting from truth. You are acting from anticipated response. And anticipated response is rarely accurate. It is built on assumption. It is built on fear. It is built on past experiences that taught you approval equals safety. But safety is not found in approval. Approval is temporary. It can be given. It can be taken. It can change without warning. And when your stability depends on something that can change, you will always feel uncertain. This is why so many people feel stuck. Not because they lack ability, because they are waiting for validation that will never feel complete. Even when you receive it, it does not last. You achieve something. You are acknowledged. You feel good for a moment. Then the feeling fades, and you look again for more. This is not because you are incapable of confidence. It is because you have trained yourself to source it externally. And anything sourced externally requires constant replenishment. The shift begins when you recognize this pattern. When you see how often you are looking outward before looking inward. When you notice how your decisions change based on perceived response. When you realize that you have been asking for permission in places where it was never required. This awareness is powerful because it interrupts the pattern. It creates a moment where you can choose differently. Instead of asking, "What will they think?" you ask, "What do I think?" Instead of asking, "Will this be accepted?" you ask, "Is this aligned?" This is where validation begins to lose its control. Not because the world stops responding, but because you stop depending on it. You begin building something different. Internal reference. Internal clarity. internal trust. And trust is built through action. Each time you act without seeking approval, you strengthen your independence. Each time you make a decision based on your understanding, you reinforce your authority. Each time you express yourself honestly, you reduce the need for external confirmation. This does not mean you ignore input. It does not mean you reject guidance. It means you filter it, you consider it, but you do not rely on it to define your direction. This is the difference between influence and control. You can be influenced without being controlled. You can listen without losing yourself. You can adapt without abandoning your truth. This is maturity, the ability to move through the world with awareness, without being shaped by every response you receive. And as this develops, something changes. You become more consistent. Your decisions become clearer. Your energy becomes more stable, because you are no longer shifting based on external reaction. You are grounded in internal direction. This is where confidence actually begins, not from praise, not from recognition, but from alignment, from knowing that your actions reflect your understanding, from knowing that your choices are yours, from knowing that you can trust yourself, even when others do not immediately understand. This is the moment where validation loses its power, not because it disappears, but because it is no longer necessary. You may still receive it. You may still appreciate it, but you do not depend on it. And dependence is what creates instability. When you remove dependence, you create freedom. Freedom to think, freedom to act, freedom to choose, without waiting, without checking, without hesitating. This is what it means to stop seeking validation, not to reject the world, but to return to yourself, to recognize that the authority you have been searching for externally has always been internal. And when you begin to operate from that place, your life changes. Not because everything becomes easy, but because everything becomes clear. You move with intention. You decide with confidence. You express without hesitation, because you are no longer asking for permission to be who you already are.